Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Chan, CEO and founder of UpKeep. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of failure codes and their critical role in the maintenance and operations sphere. We'll be unmasking these alphanumeric codes that are, in fact, a treasure trove of information, helping us understand why assets fail and how to fix them. In this comprehensive guide, we'll take you behind the scenes of how these codes work, their key functions, and the common ones that pop up in computerized maintenance management software or CMMS. Stick around to learn how to effectively leverage this data for improved efficiency, tracking issues over time, and creating detailed work orders. Now let's get started. Failure codes are more than just alphanumeric codes. They're a wealth of information that can help us understand why an asset failed. This information is stored in systems like a computerized maintenance management software or an enterprise asset management system. When used correctly, these codes can help us identify the root causes of issues and how to fix them. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of failure codes and how they operate behind the scenes. Failure codes are essentially identifiers for problems in a standardized format that's easily recognizable by technicians. Depending on the program used to generate them, they can either point the way to a more detailed description of the issue or contain all the necessary information in a single encrypted line. But for this information to be useful, it needs to be translated by someone who understands the codes. So what are the major functions of failure codes? Well, there are three key roles they play. Firstly, they help improve maintenance efficiency by highlighting problematic trends. For instance, if the same operator error failure code repeats over a few months, a manager can correct the technician or revise the instructions to prevent that error from recurring. Secondly, failure codes help track and identify issues over time. The more quality information you collect, the stronger your system becomes. These codes can be recorded over time, allowing management to generate analytical reports which can serve as the foundation for a continuous improvement program. Lastly, failure codes assist in creating in-depth work orders. Most computerized maintenance management software solutions allow management to sort by time, date, location, or asset, giving you the flexibility to examine where and when failure codes are occurring. This data can then flow directly into creating detailed work orders that address both the core and consequences of the failure code. Now let's go through some common failure codes that all computerized maintenance management systems will generate at some point. These include maintenance codes, user mistakes, calibration problems, asset defects, contamination problems, computer issues, overheating codes, leak alerts, failure to start, and equipment jams. Each of these codes has a specific purpose and function. For instance, maintenance failure codes are triggered by poor maintenance practices, while user failure codes occur when an operator or technician causes damage to the asset or machine. Calibration problems arise when a machine or asset falls out of a given range, and asset defect failure codes are triggered when there are problems with the equipment's components. Now that we understand what failure codes do and their functions within a computerized maintenance management system, let's dive into how to best use the information they contain. There are 5 steps in this process. 1. Identify failure modes. 2. Set up appropriate failure codes. 3. Include the failure code components on work orders. 4. Optimize work orders. 5. Test and scale as needed. In identifying failure modes, companies generally use one or more of 4 different methods: failure mode and effects analysis, the 5 whys method, root cause analysis, or fault tree analysis. Each of these methods has a best time and place for their use, which will depend on the equipment in question, the causes of the event, and other situation-dependent factors. Once you know the most common failures you may be facing, it's time to set up appropriate failure codes that label and draw attention to these failures. These codes should then be loaded into your computerized maintenance management software and slowly distributed to your employees and technicians. Most experts suggest having 30 or fewer failure codes to avoid overwhelming your technicians. Not every work order will have a failure code on it, but failure code components can be included in many different work orders. Once you have enough data, you can start optimizing your typical work orders with it. And finally, as with all business practices, it's time to test and scale your failure codes. But what factors play into accurate failure codes? Well, computers can only report on the data that they're given or that they've collected. If there are flaws in this data, the computers aren't necessarily going to catch them. It's up to the human technician in charge of the system in question to decipher what's going on. So, how can these situations be avoided in your failure codes? The answer lies in failure code best practices. These include setting up your failure code system with detail and diligence, keeping them organized, logical, consistent, and simple, and talking to your employees if a disproportionate amount of codes are coming back mislabeled or misunderstood. Finally, it's all very well to study up on failure codes and everything about them, but how does this drive business moving forward? How does it make employees' lives easier? How does it save your equipment? The answer to all these questions can be found in the data that failure codes point toward. Analyzing the root problems that these codes point toward enables companies to make changes that not only fix problems, but also implement preventive measures to prevent issues from arising in the future. These changes can flow into every aspect of your company, and it all starts with a small alphanumeric code pointing toward the root causes of minor and major inconveniences, issues, problems, and other stresses that affect daily life in your company. And that's how failure codes can move you and your company forward into the future. Thank you for joining us today. We've covered the importance of failure codes, their role in improving maintenance efficiency, tracking issues, creating detailed work orders, and how they can drive your business forward. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. For more information, please visit our website at upkeep.com. Remember, every bit of knowledge can help your team become more successful. Until next time, keep learning and stay ahead.